Story 1. My biggest cheat code in life is learning how to prioritize my mental and emotional health over everything else. I don't let the small stuff bother me too much anymore. Once I figured out that controlling my thoughts and staying grounded gives me peace, it just made everything easier. It helps me stay calm when life gets chaotic, and it keeps me from getting caught up in unnecessary drama. I guess just remembering that I can control my reactions more than my circumstances, that's my secret weapon. Story 2. If you are the cook in your family, only cook dinner 4 times a week, but double batch for the freezer. Then one day a week order pizza, and the final 2 days use the freezer meals. When the freezer gets too full, go on vacation and tell your family to eat the leftovers in the freezer. Story 3. Quit alcohol, especially when you're older. It sets you back for days if you indulge. I didn't have a problem, just decided to stop. It's easier socially to not say, I don't drink. Just say, I'm driving, or I have to be up early tomorrow, or another excuse so people leave you alone about it. Story 4. Just back down. Some jerk aggravating you at the bar, in traffic, wherever, just let them win. In fact, by not getting involved and bringing some stranger's nonsense into your life, you win. Story 5. When you start a new job or want to make friends at a new place, compliment people behind their backs. What I mean is always say things like, have you seen Stephanie? She looks really cute today. Or, James is really knowledgeable. I'm sure I'll be learning a lot from him. Everyone loves a person who gives compliments, and when it gets back to the person, they will be pleased and flattered. Story 6. Golden rule. Treat others how you would like to be treated. Edit fixed. I guess threatening other people works too. Laugh out loud. I'm on text-to-speech, so it's hard sometimes. Story 7. Get a good credit card with air miles and pay it off every month. We put everything we can on a Visa card and pay it off on the first of each month. We get thousands of air miles each month. Story 8. Focus on gratitude and what I do have. It helps me have a positive mindset, as I am lucky enough to have many positive things in my life to be grateful for. No matter how annoying a customer service call I have to take is. Seriously, customer service can wear you down, even just over the phone. It's hard to argue with or help people when they insist that 2 + 2 = 3 and won't listen when I say it's 4. Gratitude helps a lot with the issues I have to deal with. Story 9. When I don't feel like doing something, I choose a number in my head between 5 and 20, and this is the number of steps I immediately do. I count the numbers in my head as I do them. I don't feel like doing the dishes. Q for choosing a number. I pick 13. 1. Pick up a fork. 2. Clean it. 3. Put it on the rack. 4. Pick up a plate. 13. Success. Since people are asking, yes, I do tend to continue more often than not once these steps are done. This is because the hardest part is always to get started, and this tip helps with that. Once you have momentum, it's sometimes even harder to stop than to keep going, but you can definitely stop when the number is reached. Story 10. Avoid talking about your personal life at work. Try to keep work at work and your home life separate as much as possible. Work on a work-life balance. It's not about having an equal pie chart, but feeling fulfilled in both. Story 11. Not for life, but for life in the restaurant business. When a customer is super rude or hateful, I say in the sweetest, most genuine way, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say? 9 times out of 10, they check themselves and come correctly the second time they speak to you. It gives them a chance to check themselves. Story 12. Take 5 to 10 minutes every day to plan out what your next day will look like. Everyone has a generic to-do list, but this extra step is the secret sauce. Take a few minutes to grab some of those items and plan what time you will tackle them the next day. Then, when the next day comes, you are just on autopilot, going through the motions of what you already agreed with yourself you were going to do. I think for a majority of tasks, just deciding to do it takes more mental effort and energy than actually doing it. Following this method has made me so much more productive and really feels like a superpower. You do not have to cram a bunch of stuff in either when planning this. Be kind to your future tomorrow self and just plan a few things that you can realistically accomplish. The best part about this is that when you are relaxing or doing something fun, You do not ever feel guilty or like you should be doing something else. You made your plan and are following it. You are doing exactly what you should be. Story 13. 60 minutes of Zone 2 cardio every day. I also do serious strength training, so I already had muscles and was strong, but getting my heart in shape is what really changed my life and improved every aspect of it. Story 14. Get up at the same time each day within reason, accounting for sickness and sleeping days. Show up early, work hard, go home on time or a little late. If you find your efforts aren't helping you, it's time to change jobs or locations. Family comes first. If you have a wife, husband, or children, they are your focus. If work can't understand, see above. Don't be afraid to have people not like you. Story 15. If you attach a feeling of joy or contentment to the act of noticing details, the world provides an effectively infinite buffet of joy. It won't solve all your problems for you, but it does give you easy access to a positive emotion. And when you get good at this, you can even find details to enjoy about bad feelings and circumstances. In the middle of pain and sorrow, being able to think, this sucks, but it's kind of neat how much it sucks, is a powerful subversion. Story 16. Do more things you like. This is not doing the one thing you like all the time. Do a bunch of things. You will have a better life if you do a diverse set of things than if you focus on a few things. Story 17. In a busy tourist-filled city like London, if you just want to get from point A to point B without negotiating endless crowds of slow walkers and lines of children on school trips, adopt the parallel street strategy when walking. Avoid the main tourist thoroughfares. Just take the streets that run parallel. Story 18. People help those who help themselves. Start pushing your car along the side of the road, and people who see you struggling will stop to help. Walk around a parking lot asking people to push your car, and those same people would drive off. Even if you know you can't do it all by yourself, start pushing. Story 19. You are in control of so much in your life. Your emotions, your actions, and reactions. You can basically do whatever you want, but there are consequences for your actions or inactions. Do not let anyone tell you that you cannot do something. Story 20. The better you look, the better people treat you, and they think you are more intelligent. Looks aren't everything, but this life is not fair, and to win an unfair game, you have to play unfairly. The way you look influences every aspect of your life. Start by cleaning yourself every day and getting your haircut or beard trimmed regularly. I was once uglier than I am now, and I was once better looking as well. I'm talking from experience. Story 21. Getting a job as a floating hotel manager that covers all my lodging, I stay on site, food, travel, cell phone, and medical stipend, making me mostly protected from inflation and making it super easy to save money. Story 22. When my brother was working at a grocery store, he would look at the calendar at the beginning of the year and change his availability, so he wasn't available on the day that the 4th of July fell on. Then, in September or October, he'd change his availability so he wasn't available on the days that Christmas Eve and Christmas fell on. No one ever caught on to what he was doing either. Story 23. All the free and affordable resources online for computer professionals. I use my free operating system, Linux, to run free software for coding, image manipulation, office utilities, databases, video editing, browsers, and much more to build software that people then pay me for. I've literally paid $12 for an online course, spent 20 hours learning from it, and turned around and gotten paid $8,000 to teach it for a week. It's crazy how much is available out there. The internet is the most valuable learning resource in the world, but somehow a lot of people go on it and come away thinking that white supremacy and chemtrails are the big talking points. It's bizarre. Story 24. I know this applies in the United States, but get the local area code when traveling. Then, when using rewards for that store, just use the local area code and then Jenny's number, 867-5309, from the song. You can remember it because it's a catchy lyric and it works at every single store that has phone number accounts. You can use club rewards in places you will visit maybe twice. Story 25. Realizing that despite the trauma, despite how my brain is naturally wired, despite feeling like a victim in areas of my life, despite it all, I actually have the power to change my mindset, connect with my body, and have more control over how I regulate and navigate the world. Because I'm worth having more ease in my life, and so are the people around me. Exploring therapy, somatic therapy, meditation, journaling, and looking after my health and well-being has made me feel like I've woken up and cracked the code. Story 26. Care less. The amount of cruelty and injustice in this world will overwhelm you if you let it. Choose what matters to you most and focus on that. Otherwise, you'll be consumed by heartbreak and a sense of impending doom. And if the only positive influence you can have on this world is to not be a jerk, well, that's still something. Story 27. If you are trying to teach someone something, nod your head while you do so. The other person will nod back instinctively, putting them in the right mindset to actually learn the information. Story 28. City driving tip. When approaching a stoplight, use threshold braking to a very slow roll. Try not to come to a full stop. Often, in the few seconds of creeping, the light will turn green, and you get a rolling start. If you try this, note how much a rolling start makes a difference in getting ahead of traffic. Not only will you save gas, but you will also always beat vehicles that speed, slam on the brakes, and sit at the light forever. Story 29. If it takes 5 minutes or less, do it now. The house remains clean. No cleaning party on days off. I will also grind other chores like laundry after work, even if tired. On days off, it's time to relax. We often run on low sleep and high stress in modern society. It does more damage than we realize. Story 30. I have very poor eyesight. Sometimes when I don't want to look at a person, like during an uncomfortable conversation or when I have to talk with someone I don't like, I just take off my glasses and I can't see a thing. Story 31. Please and thank you really are magic words. When I have to ask unauthorized solicitors to leave store property, simply being polite and friendly works 80% of the time. Story 32. Whenever possible, farm it out. Hate meal planning and grocery shopping. If you can afford it, get a meal plan. Hate cleaning. If you can afford it, get a cleaner. Not always possible, but when it is, it frees up so much mental space. Story 33. For chronic procrastinators. If I don't want to do something I really know I should do, let a coin decide. If the coin tells me not to do it, it's not my fault and I stop worrying about it. I gave it a fair chance. If the coin tells me to, then I did work I probably wouldn't have done because I'm a lazy procrastinator. Story 34. Just be nice to people and do what people expect you to do. There are so few people who are just nice. Nowadays, you're unique if you're one of them. Story 35. Being genuine, nice, and approachable with people. Don't hesitate to open up to people in the right way. You wouldn't believe the progress I've made in life because of it. Story 36. Being a gay male sometimes feels like one. I don't really have to deal with the opposite sex, worry about raising children, or any of that stuff. You can still find dates when you're broke. Story 37. Don't be put off by routine. Cooking the same dish on specific days for dinner, wearing certain clothes each day, and having a set time to do things. Some people might say it's boring, but the amount of time you save by not having to decide what to do and when to do it is liberating. Story 38. If you don't want to be in an argument, you literally never have to. If someone walks up to you to give you a piece of their mind, don't respond, just walk away. Takes two to make a dialogue. Only participate in ones that are positive or at minimum neutral. You won't be able to change the other person's mind, so don't bother. Story 39. Anytime someone is rude to you, before you respond, first imagine that a couple of hours before this person was rude to them, they received a phone call from their doctor who was confirming the cancer is way worse than they expected. It may not be true, it may be giving someone far too much grace, but every single one of us has at one point been rude to someone who was already having the worst day of their life. Sometimes just one more chance for everyone to check themselves is all you need. Story 40. Be the person who shows up to work every day on time, period, unless you are in the hospital. Don't argue with your coworkers or boss, even when your coworker is being difficult. If you do those two things, then no matter what your competency at your job is, 1. You will likely never be terminated if you are the one who shows up on time and rarely calls in sick. You are not involved in employee conflicts, and you are subordinate to your boss without arguing. You will never be picked for layoffs and never terminated for cause because Regardless of what you do wrong, you'll always get a second chance. Because you never call off sick or show up late, your paychecks will always be full. Since you never leave a job except by choice, your income continues uninterrupted. You will likely become very proficient at your job because people are always willing to help and teach you something new as you are not involved in conflict with your coworkers. I struggled in my working life for 25 years until I figured it out. I made a clear, conscious choice to do those things, and instantly my financial situation and work stability improved leaps and bounds. Story 41. When talking to someone, insert their name here and there. For example, you know what person's name? I didn't even think about that. I've noticed that you can't really go wrong with this, and this also helps me remember someone's name. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Dale Carnegie. Story 42. When you feel road rage, think about how many times you've done exactly the same thing you're upset about. Ask for feedback or advice at work. Listen to it. Have an opinion on everything. Even if that opinion is, it doesn't matter to me. Just be careful how and when you share it. Always be yourself. People will notice and you'll be happier.